I just found out my mom deletes her Facebook account when she gets a friend request from someone she doesn't like, then makes a new one. She has done this 3 or 4 times this year. What's your most WTF parent v technology story? My girlfriend's uncle was asking about something recently and someone suggested that he Google it to find out the answer. He replied, it's after 5 PM. Wouldn't Google be closed by now? My dad would close out the entire Gmail window when he was done reading an email, then open up a new window, go to Gmail, log in, and read the next email. My mom couldn't believe it when she saw it. Mom could not believe that you don't have to restart the whole computer. My father thinks AOL is the default homepage for every computer and gets min-fucked when the little house in the corner opens Google or some other site. My mom thought our desktop was broken because the Google homepage changed designs. My dad clicks the back button until he finally reaches when he was at his original homepage so he doesn't leave any portals open. Holy crap, I love this. I can totally understand the logic. My father was an Air Force electrical engineer during the Vietnam War and set up generators in the jungle under mortar fire and crap. So, back in 2003 or so my PC straight up died on me during finals week. The computer shop guys couldn't figure it out. Dad gets his electrical meters out and takes the time to test everything from the power supply back. Those buttholes didn't even look inside the power supply. The quality control seal is unbroken. And figures out the problem is a dirty connection on a stick of RAM. He cleans it, put the box back together, and voila, the PC comes on. To this day the old bastard still somehow makes the search bar in his IE window disappear once a week. He also knows how to fix a washing machine, but needs someone to turn it on for him. Your dad sounds like a freaking badass that makes up for his computer skills. Years ago, I gave my mom my email address, which was at hotmail.com. A bit later, she finally worked up the nerve to ask me whether or not I was gay. Parents won't use Chrome or Firefox, they say it's not the real internet they pay for. Only Internet Explorer is real internet supposedly. My mom was getting rid of her PC to buy an iMac. She consulted Geek Squad, naturally, about any steps she would need to take to make the transition as smooth as possible. Those mother suckers told her that her MP3s needed to be upgraded to be Mac compatible. She paid them for this service. It was the one time I wished she had called me for tech support. My father just learned how to use emoticons when he texts us, but he still isn't sure what they all mean, and if he types the wrong one he doesn't know how to delete it, so he just keeps going until he gets it right. X. Dinner's at 7. See you soon. Equals. Maybe your dad is just really emotionally unstable. My mom has no patience with the computer. The computer is getting old, so it runs kinda slow at times. Whenever she's on the internet, Internet Explorer of course, because she refuses to try anything else, and it's not loading something fast enough. She gets pissed off and starts clicking over and over again, click 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 until the dang thing freezes up completely, which then sends her into a rage of yelling and even more clicking. Then she yells at me to come fix it because obviously my sister and I have fricked up the computer somehow and I'm the only one that can fix it. Not sure if I can explain it properly. Typing with one finger, like press a letter, take hand away and look at screen. Type another letter and repeat until the word has finished. Not only this, but every time they type they slam the key down so hard just to make sure it works. Hunt and peck. My mortal enemy. My mother has a Facebook and 3 friends. One is me. One is my ex-boyfriend who helped her make said Facebook. The other is a novelty account for a dog. Someone please explain. I hate it when dogs add me. My dad texts like he's in the military or something. If I text him a piece of information he'll reply, copy. Instead of saying goodbye in a text he'll say, over. In the late 90s I encouraged my dad to put his CD collection on his computer, as much as would fit on the relatively small hard drive, so that he could listen to it more conveniently. He refused because that's how you get viruses on your computer. No amount of explanation would change his mind on this. My mom worked in an office for 30+ years and mainly corresponded through email for the latter half of that. However, when she sends an email from her laptop at home, she'll be like, now what do I click? And how do I send it? I understand needing an adjustment time to getting used to the nuances of a new email account. But this has been 3+ years now. Maybe she does the same thing at work and just has the most patient IT department in history. My friend's mom would refuse to use Firefox and only would use IE. So finally when she got a new computer, he downloaded Firefox, changed the desktop shortcut image to the IE logo, and named it Internet Explorer. She has no idea. The perfect solution. My stepmom thinks that her computer is slow as heck and has a lot of viruses because they get transferred from my computer. No, those come from my dad. DLing fuckloads of P on there, woman. You should teach your dad how to properly view download P. It's uncomfortable, but we all have to have the talk without dads at some point. I run dual monitors and my dad thinks that I have 2 computers. I explain that I don't. I'm just using one. He calls me a selfish ingrate. Quite a few people out there equate monitors to computers and don't realize that hunkin' black box sitting there humming is the computer. I have 3 screens and I enjoy the reactions of people that walk into my room for the first time and see my desk with its end-to-end screens. Not my parents but my grandparents. Specifically my grandmother. I had to go over and teach my 60-something-year-old grandmother how to use iTunes. That was the most painful 2 hours of my life. She also thought that when you had iTunes cards that you had to think of the music that you wanted and then drive back to the store where you got the card and get your music there. My parents try to punish me by deleting the internet from the computer. 2 problems with that. They deleted the shortcut of Internet Explorer, and even if they had somehow uninstalled it, I use Google Chrome. I type pretty quickly, 100-120 WPM, and every time I'm around my parents they think I'm going to break the computer because it can't handle how quickly I'm typing. I work at Best Buy. This elderly gentleman came in looking for a new PC, laptop specifically. I asked him why is he replacing his current one, and what he plans on using it for. In a somewhat whispered tone, he says, "Your guy, to be honest it's only gonna be used to watch P. What's the best antivirus you got?" When I was in middle and high school, my parents would take the keyboard for the computer to work with them if I stayed homesick. Even at a younger age, I managed to buy my own keyboard that I kept hidden for just those occasions. They had no idea how I managed to get onto the computer the entire time without a keyboard. On the same vein, they hid the password for the internet, back when it needed one, on the underside of the router. My parents are smart enough to take the router so I have no internet access. It's the most annoying crap. My mom didn't know that to go to her website, you need to type it into the address window. She just yelled and cried at me going, "Why are you so mean? This isn't funny." It was. My mom prefaces everything with the examples include, key it in there on the Google. Oh, you're on the Reddit again. It's too cute to correct. My mom makes everything plural. Burger Kings, Taco Bells, Walmarts. I don't understand it. My 80-year-old mom was stuck in the hospital for a few days. Someone loaned her a laptop computer to keep from getting bored. It certainly kept her busy, as the computer was from people who are about as computer illiterate as you can get and still get on Facebook. When I went to visit her, she started in on how messed up that computer was. There was a gig of stuff in the Firefox cache, a gig, etc. She straightened that machine up enough to be usable. If she'd stayed there another day or two, it would have worked as good as new. Mum will replace power supples, RAM, hard drives, whatever. One pastime of hers is to see how far viruses can get in. If one makes it past her antivirus stuff, then root them out. It's pretty rare that she needs my help at all. I've got to be proud of her. When my dad first joined Facebook, he searched for people using his status update. At first I thought it was funny until my sphincter clenched shut at the thought of seeing a P search on my newsfeed, so I quickly called him and set him straight. Last week I was helping my mom with her new computer and she needed iTunes for her iPad. After downloading it, she won't install it because of the line of text that Windows has at the bottom of every dialog box that says this program has been downloaded, blah blah blah, may contain harmful software or something along those lines. After convincing her that it is okay, I leave, go to work, Come back and she is reading the entirety of the agreement statement. She said she had been reading it on and off all day so that she could install it. Fasapum. TLDR. Mom, read the entire iTunes agreement before installing. Well, that is the only way to ensure you won't become part of a human-sent iPad. I'm a computer technician at a local shop in a small, rural town in Midwest, USA, so I have plenty of WTF computer stories. Here's some of my favorites. I can't remember the exact issue with the computer, but the guy's shutdown procedure for turning his system off was to unplug the power strip from the wall. He couldn't understand why his less than 1-year-old computer could possibly have hardware issues. Constantly have people with viruses that ask me where they got them from. Because they don't go to P sites. Because, you know, P sites are the only sources of viruses. Had a woman call and ask me what's a good website to download music without paying for it. Told her to Google it. Figured that was a better response than if you don't know how to do it, you don't deserve to. All-time favorite. Guy calls in with a problem with his new mouse. It was moving. It was acting all crazy. Love the technical diagnosis. I try everything. 15 minutes into the call, I'm at a complete loss. I mean, it's a mouse, not a very complicated device. Finally my boss calls out from his office. Ask him if the buttons are at the top or the bottom. I do. His response? I don't see no buttons at all. I ask him if the cord is coming out of the top or bottom. Mother had his mouse upside down. Brain explodes. I complete the call, immediately walk outside, smoke a cigarette, and weep for humanity. My dad wanted to write an email to our Norwegian cousins in Norwegian, so he used Google to translate from English to Norwegian. Easy enough. Once he had the Norwegian version, he got out a piece of paper and copied down the letter. He then opened Outlook and retyped the letter into the email. My dad forgot that you can copy and paste. I think the more egregious error here is trying to use Google Translate to actually communicate with someone. Oh god. My parents are software engineers and still do this kind of crap. Most notably, probably blaming the computer slowing down on my installing of video games. My dad was all about this. He was convinced that installing games on a PC actually physically damaged it because games were not meant for computers. The existence of a gaming market and various PC gaming hardware apparently meant nothing. My mom wanted Facebook, but she doesn't want anyone to see her, or talk to her, or friend her, or know she has Facebook. My dad accuses me of deleting his music off of his computer and threatens to cancel the internet. Fun fact, I don't live at home, and somehow my dad thinks that one. I remotely frick with his computer too. He can cancel the whole internet. Long story short, set my mother up with wireless in her house so she could tote her laptop around and surf the web. Get a call a few days later, her bitching on the phone that AT&T are sons of B and lying bastards, saying nothing's wrong with her internet when she knows that something is very wrong with her internet. Basically she can't get online. I start trying to troubleshoot over the phone when I hear Dr. Manfan Chansenson. Please report to anal extraction. Dr. Manfan Chansenson, please report to anal extraction. Mom, where are you? At Children's Medical Center. Had to take your cousin to physical therapy. How far away is Children's from your house? I don't know. 7 or 8 miles. Mom. Fasapum X 1 million. TLDR. Mom's thought her $40 wireless setup at home would enable her to get online anywhere in the world. At first I thought it was anal pee blaring out of her laptop loud enough for you to hear it through the phone. Back in the day when text messages were a new thing, I came out of the shower to hear my dad on the phone with his wireless service provider, so I've called my voicemail 3 times and the message icon won't go away. Long pause. A text message? What is that? I don't want those. Sends them all the time now. My dad's fingers are too large for his phone keyboard. He also signs his messages like an email. Messages with usually come out something along the lines of "Wait yip, LVE, Dad." Someone trolled my dad teaching him a bunch of meaningless etiquettes, the most outrageous of them being that one should position the mouse pointer at the middle of a link to click on it, otherwise it will be a bad click and will age the machine faster. My friend's mom read an article about how when you leave things plugged in, even if they're off, they can still draw some electricity. Her solution to this was not only to unplug everything in the house, but also to tie the end of every electrical cord into a knot to prevent the electricity from leaking out. My mother literally cannot understand that I can't hear the messages she leaves on my cell voicemail as she leaves them. I've tried to explain many times that it doesn't work the same way as a home phone answering machine. And I still repeatedly get voicemail messages that go, "Honey, are you home? Pick up sweetie. Hello, hello," etc. When we got to Wii Station, I would play sports with my mom. Initially, when we played tennis, she would be running around the room waving the controller around madly. It wasn't until she fell over a couple couches and hurt herself did I have the heart to tell her, "You stand still." Wii Station. Till that, my mother is relatively tech savvy for her age. She can type, email, and has even been known to find a website. My mom punishes me by taking the power cord to my laptop and my desktop, and then she pulls up Netflix movies and watches them non-stop until the laptop dies. She then hands me the dead laptop. Clever woman. Whenever my parents want to use Google, they go into Chrome. Google, Bing. Go to Bing. Search Google, go to Google, and then search what they want. I actually had a professor doing this once. He googled Google on the overhead during class to Google the school's website. Would have been okay with his said class was not information system strategy. My mom downloaded Chrome and made it her main browser. She disliked it, so she wanted to go back to Internet Explorer. Instead of just switching her main browser to IE, she reformatted the computer. My dad buys a new memory card for his camera every time his fills up. He doesn't want to delete any of the photos, ever, for any reason. Also, this is my uncle, but he took some photos with a digital camera, got them printed out at a photo store, mailed them to me without a note or any explanation, and then called a week later to see if I got them. Freaking email, how does it work? I have to preface this with I swear this is true because it seems so unbelievable. Last summer, my mom asked me to figure out why she couldn't get on her banking account. So I went to the shortcut in her favorites and tried to log in and asked for her password. Mom, me. Okay, just tell me the whole word. Mom, that's it. It's just me. WTF, are you freaking kidding me? How can the bank even allow that? She said it had been like that for years. So I tried and the reply was, "You must change your password," and it had the change password dialog. I asked, "Did you notice this? That it is asking you to change your password?" Mom, "Oh, number. Sorry." So I changed it. Then she said, "I guess I should change Grandma's password. Hers is 1. I crap you not." So my dad asked me to download some software onto his very old computer, and whilst doing so, I noticed that the disk drive wasn't opening and assumed that because it is at knee height, one of my parents must have accidentally kneed it or something. My dad, however, was 100% convinced that whilst I was downloading software, I had downloaded a virus and now it is stuck in the disk drive like a pancake. His words, not mine. TLDR. My dad believes viruses are physical entities, similar to pancakes. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.